What if the greatest scientific mind in human history was told by his teachers that he would never amount to anything? What if the man who unlocked the deepest secrets of the universe spent years unemployed, rejected by every university he applied to, forced to survive on borrowed money and charity? What if the physicist who changed everything we know about space, time, light, and gravity died with a broken heart, estranged from his children, haunted by a weapon his work had helped create? History remembers Albert Einstein as a smiling, white-haired genius, the friendly face of infinite intelligence. But the real Einstein, the untold Einstein, was something far more complicated, far more human, and far more extraordinary than the legend. This is his true story. For more powerful and eye-opening videos like this, subscribe to Global Legend Studio right now and hit the bell icon so you never miss a single upload. The child who didn't speak. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in the city of Ulm in the Kingdom of Württemberg in the German Empire. His parents, Hermann Einstein, a salesman and engineer, and Pauline Koch, were a comfortable, secular Jewish middle-class family with no particular history of genius. From the very beginning, Albert was different. He did not speak his first word until he was 2.5 years old. By age 3, he still spoke only in halting, incomplete sentences. His parents quietly feared something was wrong. His younger sister Maya later recalled that even as a young child, Albert would construct entire sentences in his head, repeating them silently to himself before speaking them aloud, as if he needed to test the words internally before releasing them into the world. His pediatrician reassured his anxious parents, but the worry lingered. The child who would one day describe the architecture of the universe arrived in the world almost completely silent. And perhaps that silence was the beginning of everything. Because while other children filled the air with noise, young Albert was already learning to listen to the universe instead. What if the greatest scientific mind in human history was told by his teachers that he would never amount to anything? What if the man who unlocked the deepest secrets of the universe spent years unemployed, rejected by every university he applied to, forced to survive on borrowed money and charity? What if the physicist who changed everything we know about space, time, light, and gravity died with a broken heart, estranged from his children, haunted by a weapon his work had helped create? History remembers Albert Einstein as a smiling, white-haired genius, the friendly face of infinite intelligence. But the real Einstein, the untold Einstein, was something far more complicated, far more human, and far more extraordinary than the legend. This is his true story. For more powerful and eye-opening videos like this, subscribe to Global Legend Studio right now and hit the bell icon so you never miss a single upload. The child who didn't speak. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in the city of Ulm in the Kingdom of Württemberg in the German Empire. His parents, Hermann Einstein, a salesman and engineer, and Pauline Koch, were a comfortable, secular Jewish middle-class family with no particular history of genius. From the very beginning, Albert was different. He did not speak his first word until he was 2.5 years old. By age 3, he still spoke only in halting, incomplete sentences. His parents quietly feared something was wrong. His younger sister Maya later recalled that even as a young child, Albert would construct entire sentences in his head, repeating them silently to himself before speaking them aloud, as if he needed to test the words internally before releasing them into the world. His pediatrician reassured his anxious parents, but the worry lingered. The child who would one day describe the architecture of the universe arrived in the world almost completely silent. And perhaps that silence was the beginning of everything. Because while other children filled the air with noise, young Albert was already learning to listen to the universe instead. For 2 humiliating years after graduation, Einstein applied for academic and teaching positions across Europe. Every application was rejected. Finally, through the intervention of his loyal friend Marcel Grossmann, Einstein secured a position as a technical expert third class at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. He reviewed patent applications for mechanical devices, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was considered a complete dead end, a consolation prize for a man who had failed to launch an academic career. But Einstein found the work had an unexpected gift. It was intellectually undemanding enough to leave his real mind completely free. While reviewing patents with one part of his brain, the deeper part roamed freely through the universe, wrestling with the questions that had haunted him since the compass at age 5. He worked at the patent office for 7 years. And during those 7 years, working evenings and weekends in a small apartment with no laboratory, no research budget, no academic colleagues, Albert Einstein rewrote the laws of physics. The miracle year, 1905. 1905 is one of the most extraordinary years in the history of human knowledge. Einstein was 26 years old. He was a patent clerk. He had no PhD, no laboratory, no academic position, no scientific reputation whatsoever. In that single year, he published 4 papers in the prestigious journal Annalen der Physik. Each one was a landmark. Together, they were a revolution. The first paper explained the photoelectric effect, proving that light travels in discrete packets of energy called quanta. This paper essentially founded quantum mechanics and would eventually win Einstein the Nobel Prize. The second paper used statistical mathematics to prove the physical existence of atoms, still disputed by some scientists at the time. The third paper introduced the special theory of relativity, revealing that time and space are not fixed in absolute, as Newton had declared, but relative, stretching and compressing depending on speed and position. The fourth paper, a short, almost casual follow-up, contained 3 letters and 1 number that would become the most famous equation in history. E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. In one elegant equation, Einstein revealed that matter and energy are interchangeable, that locked inside every gram of physical matter is an almost incomprehensible quantity of energy. The atomic age, for better and for worse, was born in a patent office in Bern by a 26-year-old clerk who couldn't get a teaching job.
But behind the equations, Einstein was a deeply human, deeply flawed, and often deeply unhappy man. His first wife, Mileva Maric, was herself a brilliant physicist, one of the only women studying physics in Europe at the turn of the century. She and Einstein met at the Polytechnic, fell passionately in love, and had a child together before they were married. That child, a daughter named Liesel, was given up for adoption or died in infancy. Her fate remains one of the most painful mysteries in Einstein's personal history. Einstein and Mileva married in 1903 and had 2 sons, Hans Albert and Eduard. But the marriage deteriorated badly. Einstein became increasingly cold, withdrawn, and absorbed in his work. He drew up an infamous list of conditions he demanded Mileva follow, treating her more as a housekeeper than a wife. They divorced in 1919, and Einstein made Mileva a remarkable promise. If he ever won the Nobel Prize, he would give her the entire prize money. He kept that promise, but no amount of money could repair what had been broken. His younger son, Eduard, brilliant and sensitive, developed severe schizophrenia. He spent most of his adult life in a psychiatric institution in Zurich. Einstein left for America in 1933 and never saw Eduard again. The weight of that abandonment never left him. General relativity, bending the universe. In 1915, Einstein published what is widely considered the greatest intellectual achievement in the history of science, the general theory of relativity. The special theory of 1905 had dealt with objects moving at constant speeds. The general theory tackled something far more ambitious, gravity itself. Newton had described gravity as a force, an invisible pull between masses across empty space. Einstein demolished Newton's framework entirely. Gravity, Einstein declared, is not a force at all. It is a curvature in the fabric of space-time itself, caused by the presence of mass and energy. Imagine placing a heavy bowling ball on a stretched rubber sheet. The sheet curves downward around the ball. A marble rolled nearby will spiral inward, not because the bowling ball is pulling it, but because the marble is following the curved geometry of the sheet. That is gravity. That is space-time. That is reality. The mathematics were almost impossibly complex. The concept was almost literally unimaginable. And in 1919, British astronomer Arthur Eddington confirmed it observationally by measuring the bending of starlight around the sun during a solar eclipse, exactly as Einstein's equations predicted. The world erupted. Headlines across the globe declared, "Newton overthrown." Einstein, virtually overnight, became the most famous scientist who had ever lived.
Einstein's fame arrived at a dangerous moment in history. As the most celebrated Jewish intellectual in the world, he became an immediate target when the Nazi Party rose to power in Germany in the early 1930s. Nazi propaganda labeled his theories Jewish physics, dangerous, corrupt, and to be rejected by true Germans. Nazi publications listed Einstein among enemies of the state. There were credible threats against his life. A Nazi pamphlet titled 100 Authors Against Einstein was published, attempting to discredit relativity through sheer weight of signatures. Einstein responded with characteristic dry wit. "If I were wrong, one would be enough." In December 1932, Einstein left Germany for a visit to America. He never returned. He accepted a position at the newly founded Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey, and became an American citizen in 1940. The country that had produced him had driven away the greatest mind of the century. The bomb and the burden of conscience. In 1939, as war engulfed Europe, Einstein received alarming intelligence from fellow physicists. Nazi Germany was actively researching nuclear fission, the process of splitting atoms that his equation E equals mc squared had theoretically enabled. There were credible fears Germany was racing to build an atomic bomb. Urged by physicist Leo Szilard, Einstein signed a letter addressed directly to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning of the danger and urging America to begin its own nuclear research program immediately. That letter helped launch the Manhattan Project, the secret American program that ultimately produced the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Einstein himself played no direct role in building the bomb. His security clearance had actually been denied. The U.S. Army considered him a security risk due to his pacifist and socialist associations. But when the bombs fell and Einstein learned the true scale of the destruction, the weight of it crushed him. "Had I known that the Germans would not succeed in producing an atomic bomb," he said, "I would never have signed that letter." For the rest of his life, Einstein devoted enormous energy to nuclear disarmament, international peace organizations, and the dream of a world government that could prevent nuclear war. The equation that had unlocked the universe had also unlocked something terrifying, and Einstein could never fully escape that shadow. Here is the great irony hiding at the center of Einstein's scientific legacy. The man who helped found quantum mechanics with his 1905 photoelectric paper spent the last 30 years of his life fighting against it. As quantum mechanics developed through the 1920s and 1930s, revealing a universe at the subatomic level that was fundamentally random, uncertain, and probabilistic, Einstein recoiled. He famously declared, "God does not play dice with the universe." He believed passionately that beneath the apparent randomness of quantum behavior, there must be a deeper hidden order, a unified theory that would bring quantum mechanics and relativity together into one elegant deterministic framework. He called it the unified field theory, and he spent the last 30 years of his life searching for it. He never found it. His colleagues, including his dear friend Niels Bohr, argued that Einstein was wrong, that the universe truly was probabilistic at its core, that there was no hidden order beneath the uncertainty. History has largely sided with Bohr. The greatest physicist of the 20th century spent the second half of his career chasing a dream that eluded him completely. It was a deeply lonely intellectual journey, and it ended in silence. The Gentle Legend. In his final years at Princeton, Einstein became something between a scientist and a saint. He walked to the institute each morning in worn-out clothes, mismatched socks, and wild white hair, stopping to talk to anyone who approached him, including children, students, and ordinary passers-by. He played his beloved violin in amateur chamber music sessions. He sailed on a small lake, deliberately choosing a boat too small to capsize dangerously, since he never learned to swim. He answered thousands of letters from ordinary people, school children, struggling students, people going through personal crises, with warmth, humor, and genuine care. A little girl from a nearby school began visiting him regularly for help with her mathematics homework. Her mother worried she was bothering the great man. Einstein reportedly told the mother, "She is not disturbing me at all. I am learning a great deal from her." He refused Israel's offer of the presidency in 1952, saying simply that he lacked the natural aptitude and experience for dealing with people. Behind the public legend was a man of genuine gentleness, self-deprecating humor, and deep moral seriousness.
Bleeding caused by the rupture of an aortic aneurysm. Surgeons offered to operate. Einstein refused. "I want to go when I want to go," he said quietly. "It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." Through the night, he continued working. His nurses reported that even in his hospital bed, he was scribbling mathematical notes, still reaching for the unified field theory that had consumed his final decades. In the early morning hours of April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein spoke his final words in German to a nurse who did not understand the language. Those words were never recorded. He died quietly at 1:15 in the morning. He was 76 years old. His body was cremated, his ashes scattered at an undisclosed location, per his explicit wish to prevent his grave from becoming a shrine. But his brain, without his family's full knowledge or consent, was removed by the pathologist Thomas Harvey, who kept it preserved for decades, sparking decades of controversy and fascination. Even in death, Einstein could not fully escape the world's insatiable curiosity about what had lived inside his skull. The universe he left behind. Albert Einstein arrived in the world in silence, a child who did not speak, staring at invisible forces with wide, wondering eyes. He left the world having revealed that time bends, space curves, mass is energy, and light sets the ultimate speed limit of reality.
He gave us GPS satellites, which only work because they account for the relativistic distortion of time at orbital altitudes. He gave us lasers, solar cells, nuclear energy, and the theoretical foundations of the entire digital age. He gave us a universe infinitely stranger, deeper, and more magnificent than anyone before him had dreamed possible. And he did it not from a great laboratory, but from a patent office desk, from a thought experiment on a tram, from a compass needle trembling in a sick child's hand. Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world." He didn't just imagine a better understanding of the universe, he became one. And the universe he revealed to us, curved, relative, probabilistic, and endlessly astonishing, is the universe we all inhabit today, because of one man, one mind, one compass, and one question that never stopped demanding an answer. If you gained any knowledge or inspiration from today's video, please give it a like, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and share it with your friends and family who love incredible stories. For more powerful, mind-expanding videos about the legends and visionaries who shaped our world, make sure you subscribe to Global Legends Studio right now. Hit that bell icon and never miss a single video. See you in the next one. Stay curious, stay inspired.